you've been thinking of selling your house in 2023, then you've probably paid attention to the housing market enough to know that we are no longer in this hot seller's market that everybody grew accustomed to over the last couple years, which means in order to be successful selling your house in 2023, that you need to adjust your strategy accordingly. So how do you do that? That's exactly what we're going to talk about today, so you can maximize your profit and minimize your stress at the same time if you're selling your home in 2023 in Orange County. If you're a returning subscriber to the show, thank you again for your continued support. I really do appreciate it. And if this is your first time stopping by, hi, I'm Josh Alexander, your local Orange County real estate agent, as well as host of Orange County Housing Market News, your one-stop shop for all things Orange County real estate, where I go over weekly tips and tricks to help you successfully sell and buy homes in today's market. So if you're thinking about buying or selling a house, make sure you hit that subscribe button. So like I said, on today's episode, we're going to be going over the 5 things that sellers need to know before they get their house on the market in 2023. So let's go ahead and get into it. Okay, so let's go ahead and go over the 5 things that you need to know about before you place your home on the market in 2023 in order to make sure you're getting the maximum amount of profit and, just as importantly, minimizing your stress level at the same time. So number 1 is going to be consider having a pre-sale inspection done. So let's go over what this is as well as the potential benefits to you as a seller. So in a normal escrow, typically the buyer is going to order a general inspection. The general inspector goes through the property and they point out all the minor as well as major things they could find wrong about the property. The buyer can then take that information, submit what's called a repair request, asking you as the seller to either fix the problem or give them credit at the end of the sale so they can fix it on their own time once they already own the property. However, what a pre-inspection is you, the seller, have a general inspector go to your property before you even place your house on the market. And there are 3 key benefits for you, the seller, to doing this before you place your house on the market. So number 1, that general inspector is going to give you that same type of list telling you everything that is wrong about your property. So now you can take that list and decide if it's worth repairing some of these minor issues or major issues to make your house more appealing to the buyer. The second benefit of having that pre-sale inspection done is you can now take that general inspection packet that they gave to you, as well as any fixes that you've done to the property based on that inspection report, and hand it to any potential buyers that want to place offers on your home. Now you might be thinking to yourself, why would you give all that information to buyers? Isn't that going to scare them off and prevent them from making offers on the home? Well, let me counter that by asking you a question. Would you rather have that buyer submit an offer, get into escrow, 2 weeks later order an inspection of their own, and then all of a sudden they're finding out that same information, except now they're canceling escrow on you, wasting 2 weeks of your time, and you're back at square one trying to find a new buyer for the home? By providing that pre-sale inspection to any buyers, you're not only going to weed out any buyers that really are not serious about purchasing your home, you're going to also save yourself a bunch of time and headache of having to cancel escrow because buyers found something in the inspection report that surprised them or that they didn't like, and then they canceled escrow on you. And then the third benefit of having this pre-sale inspection done is it's going to give you more negotiating power when the buyers do have their own general inspection done and they come back with that repair request asking you to fix a bunch of items. Because now you can say, I gave you all the information, you knew the condition of the home before you even placed an offer. If you thought this home with the condition that it's in that we told you about wasn't worth the price, then you should have changed the price on your offer before you submitted it. Now this is not going to work in every situation, but it gives you a giant advantage when you go in and negotiate because the buyer already knows the condition of the home and they decided to place an offer on it with a certain price anyway. So based on all these potential benefits, I do highly recommend that you discuss with your agent about the possibility of you doing those pre-sale inspections as well. So the final thing I'll say about the pre-sale inspection is it doesn't have to be just the general inspection. You could also have them do a termite inspection as well ahead of time, so that way if there is damage, again, it's something you can either fix before you place it on the market and let them know that it's been cleared of termites, or disclose to them so they know about the issues before they place the offer, and again, all the potential benefits that come with buyers having more information before they get into escrow on your home. So the second thing that sellers need to know about before placing their house on the market has to do with the condition of their property, specifically curb appeal. So a year ago, you could have taken some photos from your iPhone, posted it online, get 20 offers within the first weekend, and be in escrow over asking price that Monday. That is no longer the case anymore. Buyers are a lot more picky when they're placing offers. They're not placing as many offers. So if your house doesn't look great when they pull up to the driveway, oftentimes they're passing. Most buyers determine if they want to place an offer on your house before they even walk in that front door. So if your curb appeal is not standing out, you're already shooting yourself in the foot, making it harder to get those great offers that you want to on your home. So let's go over some of the low-cost ways that you can increase the curb appeal without having to spend a bunch of money up front. So number one is pressure wash your house as well as your driveway. So you can either hire someone to do this, or you can either rent or buy a pressure washer yourself. If you are doing it yourself, make sure you do some test areas where it's not a very high visible place. So that way, if you put the pressure too high, strip some paint off your house, it's not going to be immediately visible to anybody walking up to the property. So if you pressure wash your house as well as the sidewalk, it's just going to make everything shine a little bit more and look a little bit newer. So number two is replace your garage door. So if you have an older garage door, let's say 15 years or older, it might be a good idea to invest in a brand new one, because it's been proven time and time again, the amount of money that you put into replacing your garage door typically is going to pay for itself in terms of the offer prices you get for your home. Usually it's not super expensive to do, usually a couple $1,000s, and they can get it installed for you, and that's something that can definitely increase the value of your home as well as the curb appeal. So tip number three is making sure everything looks green in your front yard. So your grass, your bushes, any flowers you might have, you want to spend a few weeks leading up to getting your house on the market, making sure that if your grass is dying, which hopefully it shouldn't be with all the rain we've had over the last couple months, but if it is, get someone out there to fix it for you. If you need to trim some of the bushes, make sure you do that right before you take the photos so it looks as clean as possible. And then if you have any planter areas, make sure you have some fresh flowers that are blooming in it. And an easy tip that's really inexpensive, any planters you have or dirt areas you have on your front yard, just put a fresh layer of mulch or bark on it. It makes them pop, it makes them look new, and it's not that expensive to do. So again, just make sure that everything looks as good as possible when it comes to plants and grass. So that way, one of the first thoughts the buyer is going to have is this person takes care of their home. Now, the last tip that I have for you is if your house hasn't been painted in 15, 20 or more years, it's probably a good idea to hire a painter to get the exterior of your home painted so it looks brand new again. Typically, you're going to spend less than $10,000 to have this done, and it's going to pay off because the pictures as well as the first impressions are going to be a lot better when you're pulling up to a house that has a fresh coat of paint. Now, if you don't have the budget to be able to paint the entire exterior of your house, one thing that you can do, which usually only costs a few $100s, is have that front door repainted and put some new hardware on it. That's one of the first touch points that the buyer is going to have, and if you have a freshly painted door with new hardware on it, it's going to leave a good first impression as they open the door and walk into your home. Now, as you can see, a lot of these things might take you more than a few days to get done, so that's why it's extremely important to make sure you're planning your timelines out in order to have time to be able to do all this type of work and still get your house on the market when you want to start selling it. So if you haven't already created that timeline, it's something I encourage you to do. Work backwards and figure out when you need to start working on your home to be able to get it in the right shape for those photos as well as for open houses and buyers taking tours of it. So now let's go ahead and cover the third thing that you need to know about before placing your house on the market, and it also has to do with condition, but this time let's go inside the house. So here are a few things that are relatively inexpensive that you can do to really make your house pop, to be able to attract the right buyer to get the right price for your house. So number one is you need to make sure that you take a day, at least a day, and go through the entire house, dust everything. Fan blades, vent covers, baseboards, everything that can have dust on it, you want to go through, dust, make it look as good as possible. Second thing you want to do, which you've probably heard before, is you want to depersonalize and declutter. So any major furniture you have in the house that you're not using, you can either rent a storage container to place it in off-site, or you can put it in the garage if there's room. Most buyers are not going to blink an eye if there's a bunch of furniture sitting in the garage when they're touring the home. However, if you have a lot of furniture inside the house, it just makes it look crowded and less spacious, which is not going to leave a a very good first impression on the buyers. And you also want to be able to depersonalize the house. So family photos, things like that, you want to take those down. You can replace those photos with some general artwork that still match the theme of your house. You want to make sure that buyers are able to walk through the house, figure out which rooms they want to sleep in when they live there, figure out how they want to decorate it. And by creating a blank canvas for them, it makes it a lot easier than if there's family photos everywhere where they're realizing that someone else currently lives at the property. I know it sounds odd, but it's just a mental trick to help buyers feel more attached to the property. Now, if your home hasn't been updated in a really long time and you have some money set aside to be able to make some updates on your house before you place it on the market, and you're trying to figure out where to put the money, let's go over a few things that you can do that are going to give you the max ROI on the money that you spend. So number one is going to be repaint the house. So if your house hasn't been painted, just like the outside, in 10, 15, 20 years, it's a very good idea to have someone in there put a fresh coat of neutral paint in the property. The buyers walk in, it smells nice, it looks new, it makes a great first impression, and for the money, it's one of the easiest ways to make your house feel new again. Another thing that you can consider is flooring. So whether you have carpet flooring, laminate flooring, if the flooring looks like it's been dirty and used and you can't clean it, I highly recommend going and getting it replaced with something that's, again, a generic color, but just makes it look brand new again. Because when a buyer walks in, they see stains on the carpet, they see laminate flooring or tile cracked or missing, it's not going to leave a great first impression. And by having new flooring in the house, yes, it is costly. However, alongside paint, that's one of the biggest things you can do to help make your whole house feel brand new again. The third thing you can do is do a light refresh in the kitchen. So you don't want to do a full remodel in most areas because the ROI is just not there. You're going to be spending way more than you're getting back. However, doing a light refresh where you're repainting cabinets, putting new hardware on there, making sure you have new faucets on there, those type of things aren't very expensive, and it can make the kitchen feel newer again without spending $20,000 or $30,000. You can usually get away with just a couple hundred or maybe a few thousand depending on what type of refresh you do. And then number four, same thing goes with the bathrooms, a light refresh. You don't want to redo the entire bathroom in most cases. However, repaint the walls, maybe put a new vanity in there, a new mirror, some updated lighting. Again, those usually cost a few hundred to maybe the low $1,000 range, and it's just going to make the bathroom feel a little bit newer, a little refreshed, without having to gut the entire thing and spending $15,000+ getting a brand new bathroom put in, because again, the ROI in most markets is just not there. Okay, so before we get into number four, let's do a quick refresher. So you've done that pre-sale inspection, you've worked with your agent to figure out what should be fixed and what should be left alone based on the ROI that it's going to bring you. You've done a minor update of both the inside and outside of your home, getting it ready for buyers as well as photos, and now you're at the point where you think you're ready to get it on the market. So that brings us to number four, marketing, marketing, marketing. A year ago, you could have placed your home on the market, like I said, using iPhone photos, and you'd have multiple offers on it and be in escrow over asking price the next weekend. Did you get the best price for your house? That's probably debatable, but you were able to get an escrow without any issue. In today's market, if your house is not marketed properly, you're not going to have buyers walking through it and placing offers. So it's extremely important that you have the right marketing plan and are using the right marketing channels to maximize exposure of your home to as many qualified buyers as possible. Now, at least on today's episode, I'm not going to be going over everything that you should be doing and how you should market your house because this episode would be an hour long. So if you are watching this on YouTube, you can check out this link right up here where I provide the 10-step process that I use to help market homes to make sure I maximize the amount of qualified eyeballs looking at your property. If you're watching this on a different platform, I'll include a link in the comment section, so check that out if you want to watch that video where I go over that in more detail. However, there are a few things that you need to know about marketing. Number one, you can't just have professional photos taken of your home and expect it to sell for top dollar anymore. Right now, over 80% of buyers are seeing your house for the first time online. So if you're not creating content for those type of channels, you're really missing out on how many people are seeing your home. So not only should you have photos taken, but you should have long form video, short form video, as well as 3D tours taken of your home that people can click on and virtually walk through your house as well. So that way they can see as much information about the property as possible before they even step foot inside. If your agent agent isn't using all those different types of media, as well as having strategies to be able to maximize exposure on all the different types of platforms, including Google, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, yes, even TikTok now, then you're just not getting the max amount of buyers looking at your home. So when you're interviewing agents right now to sell your house, that is the number one thing you want to focus on, is what are they doing and what strategies do they have to maximize the amount of buyers seeing your home. So the fifth and final thing that sellers need to know about before they place their home on the market this year is you need to be able to have patience and flexibility. Like I said a couple times, we are no longer in that hot sellers market where you're getting multiple offers above asking price and you are in escrow in 2 or 3 days. Sometimes it could take multiple weeks or even more than that, oftentimes depending on what interest rates are doing. So because interest rates are just fluctuating so wildly right now, for instance, at the beginning of February, they're hovering at 6%, now they're hovering at 7%. You could have a few weeks where you have a bunch of activity when rates go down, but all of a sudden they shoot back up again, and now you have a slow drip of buyers coming through. And so you have to understand that when you're making your timelines, especially if you're trying to sell your house and purchase another one. If you don't have an extended timeline built in, knowing that it could take you 2-3 months to be able to get your house sold and get the new house under contract and move in, you could be really setting yourself up for a lot of frustration and a lot of stress if you have a timeline that just isn't realistic in today's market. So it's important that you really start talking to an agent multiple months if possible before you place your house on the market. That way you can get all these timelines set up and have those realistic expectations. So when you do get your house on the market, it could be as stress-free and as painless as possible as you go through the whole process of buying and selling a home at the same time. Now, if all the information I'm going over today seems a little overwhelming or some of it you don't think applies to you and you want to get your own personalized recommendation for what you need to do before you place your home on the market, feel free to reach out to me anytime. You can call me, DM me, email me, or you can set up a 30-minute discovery call by clicking the link in the comment section, and we can talk about what your personal situation is, as well as my recommendations and getting a game plan set up for you so you know exactly what you need to be doing in order to be able to sell your home for the maximum price and minimize the stress level as much as possible. And once again, if you found this episode useful, please hit that like and subscribe button. And if you know anybody that might find this information useful, please consider sharing it to them as well. I would really appreciate it. So until next week, stay healthy, stay happy, and I will see you on the next show. Bye, everybody.